Doesn't do it with pure speed or power. He's somebody who blends it all together. It's really that boxing IQ that he has that allows him to adapt and eventually overcome his opposition in the ring.
A win on April 19th would be the defining moment of Hopkins' brilliant 20-year career. One more instance of overcoming odds. One more night of proving the critics wrong.
I was born the underdog. I embraced the underdog. Didn't supposed to be here at 43 years old. Didn't supposed to beat Trinidad. Didn't supposed to beat Tarver. Didn't supposed to beat Joe Calzaghe.
A world champion in your early 40s, that's extremely rare. But to be a reigning champion and to be considered one of the best champions, one of the top 3 fighters in the world, that's almost unheard of.
He's earned his place as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. And he's done it in an uncompromising way, both in and out of the ring.
Oh, bloody hell! That's it! Come on, let's do that, come on!
Calzaghe wants to throw 80, 90 punches per round. He wants to let his hands flow like water. He wants to stare down Hopkins' mostly defensive-oriented style with a torrent of two-handed offense.
He threw 1,000 punches against Jeff Lacey, just under 1,000 against Keza. I think Bernard Hopkins is going to be in for a shock because I just don't think he's going to be able to match Joe's work rate. I don't think he's going to be able to match his style. I just think he's in for a rude awakening.
That's pretty though, isn't it? That's my secret. 9 punches a second, that's right. 9 punches a second.
Calzaghe has repeatedly stated in recent months he is nearing the end of his career. The 36-year-old Welshman claims to be uninterested in chasing all-time marks. Preserving his own undefeated legacy, though, is another matter.
I don't think he'd be able to look back with as much pride if his record, he lost his last 2 fights, say, which is why I think he's so determined to go out on the top.
When you robbed that old lady.
The bottom line is, since very long ago, since somewhere back when he was a teenager, Joe Calzaghe has not had the experience of seeing the other guy's hand raised in the ring. If it were me, I think it would be hugely important to me. I think I would go to bed at night thinking, I've built this mountain. I'm not going to let it slip.
His legacy is firmly intact in the UK. But critics still persist stateside. Critics who would be silenced by a victory in Calzaghe's first ever U.S. fight.
The question is, okay, are you just a regional fighter? You rarely leave the confines of Wales or the UK. What happens when you leave that continent? What happens when you cross the Atlantic and fight one of our best fighters? Are you going to be able to take what Bernard Hopkins is going to bring to that ring? So, American fight fans are going to be watching him for that.
In America, being a good European fighter is almost like an insult, as if to say, you're good in Europe, so what? You have to come here to do it. America has never seen Joe Calzaghe how good his chin is, and I think there's just a feeling of wanting Joe to go over there and show America really what they've been missing out on.
Well, I just see this as me against Bernard Hopkins, and the best fighter will win. This is not about, to me, colour or politics or countries or anthems. This is just about 2 guys fighting. The real champion is me. I'm the one who's going to America. I'm fighting the way he wants to fight. Do I care? Why? Because I'm going to win. I'm going to win the fight.
From opposite ends of the world, they've chosen opposite paths, taken differing hard-fought journeys to glory, and ended up here, a place where one night can define a legacy.
Bernard Hopkins wants to limit the action. And when Calzaghe does open up, he wants to target him with that great right hand counterpunch of his.
Hard right hand by Hopkins, biggest blow of the fight.
For Calzaghe, it's completely the opposite. His punches flow with musical rhythm and regularity.
Calzaghe begins to hammer it home.
He wants to get into that position where he can square his shoulders and fire with both hands and land with equal accuracy.
Oh, good shot.
Beating Hopkins, I think, is more important to Joe Calzaghe's legacy because he's beaten the young title holders and the old former title holder. He's never beaten the wily, old, experienced veteran who is the reigning champion.
You're seeing a representative of a culture that's been tremendously important to the streets, the black ghettos of America, against the greatest Welsh fighter of all time from a tiny town outside of Cardiff. It's a fantastic scenario.
If I turn up on a night, I'm going to win the fight. Simple as that. You know, I'm younger, I'm smarter, I'm faster, I can punch out. That's not being big, and that's just fact.
I don't know what scared is. I know what being aware is. I know what being focused. I know what being on top of your game. But scared, no. I think scared kills you.
It's the greatest middleweight of our era against the greatest super middleweight of our era, actually fighting for the light heavyweight title.
Championship Boxing, a battle for light heavyweight supremacy. Philadelphia's Bernard Hopkins, undefeated Pride of Wales Joe Calzaghe, two legends, each with 32 knockouts and a record 20 or more consecutive title defenses.
I think he's going to finish it.
Can the lightning-fast Brit conquer yet another weight class?
Calzaghe begins to hammer it home.
Or will Hopkins end Calzaghe's perfect reign?
Crowd goes wild. That's a huge moment for Hopkins.
The Hopkins-Calzaghe light heavyweight fight. Live Saturday, April 19th. And don't miss Countdown to De La Hoya Forbes immediately following the fight on HBO. The best fighters in the world fight here. On the next World Championship Boxing. The return of one of the greatest fighters of our generation. A 7-time world champion and one of boxing's brightest stars. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. Now, live on HBO for the first time in 7 years, he faces former champion Steve Forbes, an 11-year veteran who has never been knocked down or out. Celebrate the return of the Golden Boy, De La Hoya versus Forbes, Saturday, May 3rd. Live on HBO. The best fighters in the world